Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Environmental Coffee House. I am Sandy Shellis, and welcome to something that's going to be a good show. I really want to know today also how my audio is. I did some farting around with the audio because I seem to move around, and because I move around, I had to change it. So you guys are I trust you guys to tell me. So I've got a really good show today. And hi, Roller Dragon. Look at who's with us. Roller Dragon, I have to say thank you for coming. And my gosh, Raza and Old Sage Joe and Nick Miller, hola, hola, from Mexico. And Warren and Gary, little more volume, he says. I need a little more volume. Well, let's see. Let's see. On this mic, we could try this little more volume thing. Let's see. We'll pull it up. And Gary said that I need more volume. Well, I'm doing my best. So, for me, everything is something to try. However, before I get started in the show, I might be able to change a couple of things. So if you give me a minute, we can see the mic gain. It says auto level. I made it, it didn't stay the same. So let's see how this sounds, and we'll get started. Okay. So how did I get started on this? Well, what's repeating sounds? Somebody said I have repeating sounds. Well, I don't know. Okay, Gary says it's okay. All right, so we're good. Thank you, Roller Dragon. Thank you, Gary. Hi, Rich Diana. Hello, Chicken Patty. Hi, Kevin. Your neighbor can hear it now. All right, so now... I love you guys. I'm telling you. So today I made a really good video, I think, as usual. I I got started on this actually. My brain goes in all kinds of different directions, and I I started actually by looking at, believe it or not, hi, Darlene, Nancy Pelosi videos. And I'm good on YouTube. All right, all right, all right. So now it's too high. Gary says turn sound down if it's too high for me. Well, we'll figure it all out. Anyway, here's my coffee. This is the coffee klatchen. All right, Wednesday morning coffee klatchen. And we know that I am a cat lady. So I'll show you my boys today. These are my boys. These are two of my boys. And the front one is Buddy and the back one is Seven, the one that was starving to death last March. These are my boys. We can start out with my little boys. Look at my little boys. Look at the colors. They fit with the junkyard very well. Okay, so, Cindy Seeley's with us. All right, so anyway, now that I hope this is set right, I started out looking at videos of Nancy Pelosi, actually. And then I started looking at videos of the old shows and old car commercials, all kinds of stuff. You know, my mind just goes to so many places. So I made a video and we'll start with you. He says that's a lot of coffee. Well, let me tell you, everybody knows it's low caffeine, low acid, high antioxidant coffee that I simply cannot afford probably anymore, much longer. And that's a whole other story I can tell you, but let's do the show. All right, let's do the show. You all know I've been sick. I'm getting better. And anyway, so if you're all joining me, I do have, it's kind of a longer video today that I made, but it's a good one. And I think that it will transcend to all age groups. If you're older, you'll be like, holy shit. If you're younger, you'll be like, holy shit. So actually, we're going to do this before I go. I mean, I could go. I have so many, this is what it's called today. We loved our old cars too much. All right. So I think if we have enough people that have joined us, and I don't know about Facebook, I share on Facebook and holy shit. Thank you for moderating. Holy shit. Let's have it. And good morning, Vegematics. So let's go. We are going to watch this video. It's pretty good. Sit back. I'm not going to tell you to to eat popcorn. I can't eat popcorn anymore. I'm not going to. So let's watch the show. All right. It's a bit long. Sit back, enjoy the show, and then we'll have a conversation. All right, babes, I love you all. Okay, let's go for it.
Introducing our tough one, the 1970 Chevelle SS396. It's a great performer, except for one thing. No one gives it a chance to perform. Not that we can blame them. After all, there's a lot to admire about the new Chevelle SS396.
Your car?
Hey. What's that?
A no-nonsense cowl induction hood you can order that actually feeds in extra air when you accelerate. Functional hood pins.
These bobby pins.
No, these aren't bobby pin hood pins. They'll be in there for real hood pins.
What's that?
This. Hey, 2 pipes. Gun it for me, will you, buddy? Oh, now, come on.
These are belted fiberglass tires, aren't they?
Consider this fair warning. When you order your Chevelle SS396 at your Chevy dealer's sports department, expect to draw a crowd, no matter where you take it.
Concern about air quality usually centers on pollution, as in the ironic observation, if you can't see it, don't breathe it. Increased reliance on coal is a crucial part of the Carter administration energy program. But the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee heard warnings today that a coal-burning society may be making things hot for itself. Nelson Benton reports.
The so-called greenhouse effect is created by carbon dioxide, a colorless, odorless gas. In small concentrations, it helps to sustain almost all life on Earth. The relatively small amounts of carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere filter the warming rays of the sun to the Earth's surface. But like a greenhouse, carbon dioxide also prevents heat given off by the Earth from escaping into space. Researchers say increasingly large amounts of CO2 are accumulating in the atmosphere. They fear the Earth will gradually become warmer, causing as yet uncertain but possibly disruptive changes in the Earth's climate 50 to 70 years from now. Fossil fuels, when burned, release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Coal, the worst culprit, oil and natural gas to lesser degrees. Scientists and a few politicians are beginning to worry that global energy planning does not take the greenhouse effect seriously enough. If the Earth gets too warm, for example, ice caps could melt, raising the level of the seas.
Possible, probable, we really don't know. But if it happens, it means goodbye Miami, goodbye Corpus Christi, goodbye Sacramento, goodbye Boston, which obviously is much more of a concern. Goodbye New Orleans, goodbye Charleston, Savannah, and Norfolk. On the positive side, it means that we could enjoy boating at the foot of the Capitol and fishing on the South Lawn.
One model of climate, the Jason climate model, predicts that doubling carbon dioxide will result in August in Washington, D.C. that are 9 degrees centigrade warmer, or 16 degrees Fahrenheit, than current summers, but that the winters will only be 2 degrees centigrade warmer. Changes of this magnitude are very probably going to have a profound effect on agriculture, on all aspects of energy use and generation, and on water and land use.
One scientist put the urgency of the greenhouse potential in biblical terms, citing the warning given to Noah in the Old Testament. Noah knew trouble was coming, he said, and he prepared for it.
Stand by Washart and 20.
Today's news.
Roll 52. Take it. Not
Today's tragedy.
Well, we'll see how it looks in playback.
Today's traumas. Could today's developments create tomorrow's disasters? Good evening, I'm Ted Koppel, and this is Nightline. From the greenhouse effect to the floods devastating Bangladesh, to the forest fires sweeping the American West, the culprit may be man himself. And that's our story tonight. Is it possible that the American passion for automobiles is somehow remotely responsible for the devastating floods that are now engulfing Bangladesh? Or try an even more remote, indeed bizarre question.
Yes.
Could that flooding somehow be connected to the Industrial Revolution, the mechanization of Great Britain and Northern Europe more than 100 years ago? Those questions are not quite as off the wall as they may seem. Indeed, as the summers here in the United States seem to get hotter, we may be viewing with legitimate alarm the rise of fossil-fueled industries in places like the People's Republic of China. We are, it turns out, in spite of all our best efforts at nationalism, just one planet after all. Here's Mark Potter.
The devastating floods in Bangladesh may just be an omen for low-lying coastal areas around the world. Scientists predict a rise in temperatures that will eventually melt the polar ice caps, causing the oceans to rise. Forest fires, like those ripping through Yellowstone National Park now, may also become more frequent. Even the story of Old Wives Lake causes concern. Just last year on Canada's Western Plain, the water in Old Wives Lake covered nearly 300 square miles.
Wow.
Today, the lake is gone.
This used to be one of the bigger salt lakes in southern Saskatchewan, and unfortunately, due to the drought, it was completely dried up, and now we're just walking over the dry salt bed.
What's this that we're walking through now?
Some type of aquatic weed that was growing in the lake, and they've all died and dried up now.
Around the world, scientists see a disturbing pattern. The hottest 4 years on record occurred in this decade alone, and 1988 will probably be the hottest year of all. Some fear the so-called greenhouse effect is beginning to wreak havoc.
We are leaving a period of substantial climatic stability that has lasted for some hundreds, even thousands of years, and entering a period of very rapid changes in climate.
In its natural state, the Earth is gently warmed by a layer of carbon dioxide that traps some of the sun's heat waves as they are reflected by the globe. The greenhouse effect is the result of too much carbon dioxide and other pollutants, which, like a greenhouse, are trapping more heat each year now, raising the surface temperatures. Scientists say this effect began with the Industrial Revolution, when the burning of coal, gas, and oil created man-made carbon dioxide. More than 5 billion tons of it pour into the air each year now, throwing the atmosphere off balance. At the same time, third world nations in search of wood and cropland are destroying the tropical rainforests at a rate of 27 million acres a year, an area that's nearly the size of Great Britain. Left alone, these trees would have consumed carbon dioxide, helping to keep the atmosphere in balance. That leaves us with a planet that's warming up and drying up this past summer in places like the American Midwest and Canada. Some scientists disagree. They believe the current drought, which dried up Old Wives Lake here in Canada and is tormenting American farmers, is simply the result of natural variations in climate, not the greenhouse effect. But most scientists do agree the Earth is warming. And if this dry lake bed isn't the result of the greenhouse effect, it does show what could happen throughout the world in our lifetime. If pollution and deforestation continue at the current rate, scientists predict the average global temperatures could rise from 4 to 9 degrees in just 40 to 60 years, maybe earlier if pollution accelerates. Keep in mind that a 4-degree average temperature difference is all that separates our current climate from that of the Ice Age, which ended 10,000 years ago.
If the planet warms by as much as 9 or 10 degrees Fahrenheit, we will be outside the climatic regime that has been experienced in the last million years.
Some areas will heat faster than others. This map prepared by NASA shows in red the areas that scientists predict will feel the worst heat rises in the upcoming years. Note the American Midwest, where rising temperatures could destroy the rich cropland. The growing climate would move north into less suitable terrain.
One could consider, quite conceivably, a significant reduction in the production of grain. That would mean one would go from a net exporter of food to a net importer of food. That clearly would have some significance for the political balance between the various superpowers of the world.
Scientists say that predicting greenhouse effects is relatively easy. The hard part is convincing all the countries of the world to make sacrifices for what must be global solutions.
We have come to a point in history when we can no longer act primarily as citizens of any single nation state. We are irreversibly entangled in the same destiny.
At a recent conference in Toronto, scientists from around the world called for an unprecedented global law of the atmosphere. Currently, the worst carbon dioxide polluters in the world are the industrial nations, led by the United States and the Soviet Union. Scientists say those countries must take drastic steps to conserve energy and develop new fuels. Ironically, this may bring nuclear power into greater favor. Politically, the developing nations are an even bigger problem. For example, how do we sway China, which is basing its new economy on energy from its abundant coal supplies?
I think that it's going to be necessary to provide technology transfer to the Chinese. I think it's going to be necessary to provide incentives for them to follow different options. I think we're going to have to pay a price, and it will not be cheap.
It also won't be cheap to stop deforestation in Brazil, where poverty-stricken farmers are cutting down the rainforests in order to eke out a living.
The richer, developed world, such as the United States and Europe, have to work with Brazil to rectify that situation. We have to believe that we may have to pay for reforestation.
The point is, everyone will have to pay, since scientists say global warming is already beginning. The world's political leaders face a unique challenge now: the preservation of the one resource shared by all nations on Earth.
It is time that we realize that we all share a common future. The setting is urgent and the threats are real.
1988.
I'm concerned. I don't think it's an emergency. I think we have plenty of time to act. But if we don't start actions today to limit the emissions of these gases, we're going to be building in an irreversible change, and we're going to be leaving for the next generation a world which is moving downhill towards uninhabitability. Personally, I think the changes that we're seeing this summer are not only characteristic of the sorts of things we'll see more and more often in the future, but have been made more likely by the greenhouse gases we've already put into the atmosphere. So yes, we're moving slowly into a greenhouse world, and this is a sample of things to come. But that's not really the important point. The important point is this, that the changes are irreversible and that there's a lag between the emissions of the gases and the full manifestation of their consequences. So we can't move into this world, casually look about and decide we don't like it and go back. There will be no going back.
America's #1 luxury car is Cadillac. #1 by more than double in sales and popularity. Cadillac offers for 1974 the leadership cars of the land. Cadillac 74 is #1 in choice, with 9 different models, plus luxury versions never before available, like the Fleetwood Talisman. Historically #1 in owner loyalty, Cadillac now offers its owners even greater luxury in interior appointments and a new concept in instrument panel design. And traditionally, #1 in resale value, Cadillac adds even finer engine performance from start to stop. A new high-energy ignition system is available. There's a new level of quiet and rolling smoothness that is Cadillac at its very best. Cadillac 74, more than ever, America's #1 luxury car.
Now, if there is ambiguity about how dangerous this situation is, you're certainly not going to be able to convince Americans not to use their cars.
There's no ambiguity. The world is getting warmer unless we limit carbon dioxide emissions. And it's not a matter of throwing out cars. There are short-term measures like moving to more mileage-efficient cars, which, by the way, would get rid of smog and acid rain in the process. And then long-term measures like the federal government investing heavily in research and development on solar energy. It's not a matter of pain. It's a matter of start a slow process. Efficiency measures now, dollars now, to produce renewable energy sources later.
New report confirms that climate change is indisputably underway and states with 90% certainty that greenhouse gases released by human activities are the main cause of global warming. You on this committee are opening a window into our future. Looking through that window, we see a future in which global warming will reshape our planet and our society. We also see a future in which harsh consequences could be blunted by prompt action.
Hi, I'm Nancy Pelosi, lifelong Democrat and Speaker of the House.
And I'm Newt Gingrich, lifelong Republican, and I used to be Speaker.
We don't always see eye to eye, do we, Newt?
No, but we do agree our country must take action to address climate change.
We need cleaner forms of energy, and we need them fast.
If enough of us demand action from our leaders, we can spark the innovation we need.
Go to wecansolveit.org. Together, we can do this.
We are in a remarkable moment in American history, and in fact in world history. And that is
Sit next to Sheldon Whitehouse.
For the first time, to the best of my knowledge, we have a major political party which by and large is rejecting what the scientific community is saying. Now, we can disagree about funding for education or healthcare and all that stuff. But if we cannot accept what the overwhelming majority of scientists are taking, and there is no more debate, the overwhelming majority of scientists are saying, A, climate change is real. Climate change is caused by human activity. Climate change is already causing devastating problems in the United States and around the world. And if we do not get our act together by significantly reducing carbon and methane emissions, that situation will only get worse.
I've been trying to get rid of those subsidies for as long as I've been in a position to do so. Right now, we have tried to counter, to offset what that is. You have a situation where some of the leading fossil fuel companies, leading oil companies, make $1 trillion a year. They need no incentive to drill, but there is in the Congress still support for them to have that. In order to offset that, to recognize that that shouldn't be, just speaking personally now, we have in the legislation our goal. We have a goal, we have a vision, we have a goal, we have a timetable, we have milestones. And what our purpose is in our legislation to reach those milestones.
This is not about some expensive, politically correct green act of bunny hugging or blah, blah, blah. Build back better, blah, blah, blah. Green economy, blah, blah, blah. Net zero by 2050, blah, blah, blah.
We've been going together for 3 years now. Charlotte, will you be my... My... Oh, my.
It's a gorgeous car. What is it?
It's a new Dodge Charger. A Dodge Charger 500.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
What's that?
That's the optional Hertz shifter.
Elliot?
Yeah.
Hey, where are the headlights?
They're hidden where the bumper loops around the grill.
Hey, these are new high back seats?
Yeah. See how nice they fit?
My name's Sheila. What's yours? Elliot? That's a cute name. Bet it really rides smooth. Huh, El?
Why don't we find out?
Elliot! 1970 Charger 500. If you can cope with a whole new image, you could be Dodge material.
I hope you enjoyed that. I thought that it would bring up some good conversation in the chat, and it did. Sean says, how many knew about climate change in the 80s and didn't do anything about it? I don't even know what I knew. I don't remember seeing that. I may have. 1988, I was a mom, and I had an SUV. I was American. I was an American. And so, I've had a love affair with some of this, and I have some pictures to go through with you, and I think we'll continue to show, and then I do have a couple of articles. I have a couple of things. Well, actually, maybe we'll look at some of the. Whoops, it's not on there. Maybe we'll look at some of these things, because there's another thing we don't think about in our world. We don't always think about it, even though there are a lot of people that are thinking about how to get rid of tires associated. Emissions from tires and brakes are growing they significantly, exacerbated by the increasing population of large, heavy vehicles such as SUVs and growing demand for electric vehicles, which are heavier than standard cars because of their batteries. So here we are. What did this say? A fraction of non-exhaust versus exhaust emissions, effect of regenerative braking and other newer technologies. Okay, so there's newer technologies. Let me see. It's an article called Emissions Analytics Finds Pollution from Tire Wear Can Be 1,000 Times Worse. So there's another one, another one. And on this one, this was, this is a wonderful fucking thing. As top oil and gas officials reconvene on Wednesday to discuss how, let's see if I can get this one up so you can see it. This is a good one to talk about. All right. So this is Reuters, and as top oil and gas officials, right, reconvene Wednesday to discuss. Oh wait, this was 2019. I forgot, but it's still pertinent. It doesn't matter. To discuss how they expect to respond to demands for more energy with lower greenhouse gas emissions. One topic will be missing: cutting emissions from customers' fuel use. Okay, well, Exxon and Pioneer Natural Resources in sessions at this week's World Petroleum Congress pledged to slash greenhouse gas emissions from their production in the top U.S. shale field. Both are moving to electrified drilling operations Okay, wait, guys. What do we have when something is really, really, really shitty? Well, I think that electrifying drilling operations is what is it, an idiotic thing, so it gets the environmental coffee house flush of the day. Yay, the flush of the day. Okay, all right, so what's missing so far was any talk of cutting emissions from customers' use of their fuel, commonly called Scope 3 emissions. Instead, Congress panelists in 2019 have used the stage to argue against moving too quickly from oil and gas to renewables. In the United States, oil companies have largely rejected any plan to set targets on Scope 3 emissions despite public pressures to do more, and that's when the former guy was in. The clueless fucking moron of Donald Trumpski. All right, can I make this a little bigger for you guys? All right, companies have to take care of Scope 1 and 2 emissions, said ConocoPhillips. And, I think that's their tax. That's how you find them on the stock market, the top end, I think. Chief Executive Ryan Lance on Tuesday, while Conoco shareholders last spring voted 58% in favor of Scope 3 targets. Lance said his company is focused on the greenhouse gases we create as a business, and we have to have a sustainable plan to reduce those. So, guys, they're going to drill with electric drills. Oh, my God. It is more challenging for oil companies to deal with Scope 3, said Kusuke Satomori, a director at Producing Nations Group, the International Energy Agency. Restraining customer emissions is a shared responsibility between consumers, companies, and policymakers, he said. So there's a role for consumers to play as well. The American Petroleum Institute Senior Vice President of Policy, Economics, and Regulatory Affairs, Frank J. Macchiarola, told Reuters. And for consumers, it is ultimately about choice. The oil industry, all right, it's about choice. Those guys are a bunch of fucking hypocrites. If it's about choice for that, why can't it be about choice for women? You see? Why can't it be a choice for women? All right, so Sonia Savage, energy minister for Alberta, Canada's largest oil and gas producing province, said in a panel on Tuesday that regulators must weigh the needs of consumers in devising clean fuel mandates. The shortage of natural gas we saw is teaching us that some fossil fuels like diesel are just still needed, What's going to lead us to net zero emissions is not rhetoric. Actions will. Okay, well, actions will. What actions? Let's see, TCR says, discussing emissions reflections without bringing up adding more energy consumers is insane. Yeah, we live in an insane place. Insane. Okay, so we go from the insane maybe to some techno-utopian insane. And I found all about water cars, at least a little bit about water cars. Here's everything we know. And this is from August 2021. Here's everything we know about water-powered cars. There's an urgent need for revolution in terms of design, and there's conclusive, stand on safety and reliability of water-powered cars. The 21st century has witnessed a massive influx of innovations and impressive technological advancement. brands have, in fact, evolved from one level of technology, right, to another mind-blowing echelon that leaves the entire world in awe. Creators are exploring modernity in such a way that it makes life easier for all. Business as usual, easier for all. We don't have to change a fucking thing. One of the exceptional creations of the automotive industry happens to be a water-powered cars. A collection of cars that directly derive their energy from water. From water, guys. Yeah, okay. These relatively new models have been the crux of discussion for websites, newspapers, and patents, and so on. These particular cars are said to produce fuel from water with no other source of energy input, wholly owning to water, or they even run as hybrids, deriving energy, from water or gasoline when needed. Apparently, research has shown that water itself is full-fledged hydrogen that is highly oxidized. This said, hydrogen is high energy and very flammable, but when water is formed, its useful energy is released. It is, however, important to note that the rate at which water-powered cars are hoping to usurp our normal gas vehicles is quite rapid, as some new brands coming up are intent on storing up a lot of energy that is taken from sustainable and renewable resources. Example, hydrogen. And also by using this untapped energy to further enhance electrolysis and also power vehicles using hydrogen. How they work. The process involved is deriving hydrogen from water is called electrolysis. It's a stringent procedure whereby water is broken down into oxygen and hydrogen. However, because of the rigorous processes involved in taking apart the water molecules released at the point where hydrogen was oxidized to form water, it involves a whole lot of levels of verification before it is declared safe for use. So, typical brands working on this project or stakeholders that have given comments on the idea of running a car with water have emphasized the fact that these hydrogen vehicles provide a sustainable way to power cars with clean energy in the very near future, irrespective of the fact that some big industry players remain uncertain. And let me say, my little thing here is that they better take the water from the places that are flooding. So figure out, if you're going to make these things, figure out a catchment system for water from my house that from the torrential rains that flooded my basement this summer. Okay, so the first process in making that water-powered car is recorded as storing up hydrogen in a tank. This tank has certain specifications required to make it effective. It has to be immune to crashing, thick-walled, and is to be placed below the back seat. The stored up hydrogen would then be mixed with air and pumped into a fuel cell. So once this is done, a chemical reaction proceeds to extract the electrons from the hydrogen. So what happens here is that the remaining hydrogen protons are moved across the cell to mix up with oxygen taken from air to produce the water. As it is an established fact that electrons are natural electricity producers, these electrons create electricity and charge a small storage battery that would be then used to light up the electric drivetrain, and the car is subsequently propelled forward. Wow. So major brands are thinking about this, okay? Over the years, a number of car manufacturers have ventured in attempts to create water-powered cars. Recently, NanoFlowCell AG, a Swiss-French company that started a water-powered car line. In 2015 they did. Eventually, automobile companies was faced with a lot of skepticism and criticism. Yeah, think. But far be me from a skeptic. I'm just reporting with a little bit of snark on the side. Eventually, the cars they produced did not burn HHO gas, using a flow system that allows a fuel cell to be powered by electrolysis. In the same vein, Genepax, a Japanese country, is also working on an eco-friendly vehicle that is fueled by water. The brand claims that water used to propel the car is generated from water energy systems by providing water and air into their respective electrodes. So Genepax showed off a prototype of an innocuous gray boxing the brand's Genepax vehicle's trunk that supplies all the power to drive the car. All that is required is to add a little bottle of Evian or aqueous liquid once in a while, then proceed to drive around without necessarily having need for gasoline ever. So this brand has plans to provide a 1 kW class generation systems to be used for residential applications and in electric cars. Okay, so final thoughts on this little bugger, and I have a little other buggers to show you too. It is no longer news that the price of gas is on the rise, and it does not seem like it is showing signs of subsiding any sooner. That's a little one. However, the fact remains that the future of water-powered cars is quite bleakly, mainly because of skepticism and criticism that the whole concept is facing currently. No, it's probably just the fossil fuel industry. Hence, there is an urgent need for revolution in terms of design and also a conclusive stand on the safety and reliability of these cars, especially in America where we want the big ones. We want the big ones. Nevertheless, for those that are interested in reducing gas bills and upholding a sustainable future, we must keep the hope alive for success of water-powered cars as they offer an alternative to electric vehicles. So here we are, guys. What do you think? I see that there is some conversation in here, and it's interesting to me that I always say that we're not going to stop technology. Nothing is going to stop. And corporate, the entire world is somewhat based on capitalism. The entire world is based on the growth paradigm. And the entire world is based on business as usual. Don't expect it to stop till the very end. And, I don't even know if I'm against or for. It's not even against or for thing. It's going to happen. So I thought I would share with you, and we go down a little bit more memory lane. Why not? We're going to go down memory lane, and I'm going to show you my first car. My first car was a 1973 Capri, and I loved that car. It was a four-speed, 6-cylinder, awesome car, and I loved it. And my whole entire life, because of the age that I am, has been fossil fuel driven. I don't apologize. I really don't apologize, because I didn't know any differently. I didn't have any other options. I am just a stupid American who followed what was real. And that, I used to think it was quizzical that, Andy, you had a Capri? Wow. I love my Capri. I had two of them. The first one got smashed. My girlfriend, Annette, and myself, we went out one night and we were sitting at I don't know if you guys know the Jack in the Box chain in the United States. Well, we were sitting there waiting for our garbage American food at midnight. I don't know. I think I was 16 or 17. And, the car cost me $900, the first one, and I worked in a donut shop to make that money. I worked in a donut shop, my first real foray into the service industry. And right behind us was a car full of drunk motherfucking assholes. Plowed right into my first 1972 Capri and smashed it. And it wasn't worth fixing. And I was devastated. So I got the insurance money and I had to wait without a car. Oh my God. You know, in high school, if you didn't have a car and you would see the muscle cars parked in the parking lot, it was muscle car heaven back then. I mean, holy shit. I could make a movie out of the muscle car part of life. These are memories. We grew up on them. Those of us of a certain age and those of you younger, you can listen to our stories. You guys have your own stories with your vehicles because my daughter is a Volkswagen small car, gas efficient car loving person. But these are the stories. These are the stories. I do have another article, but you know what? Before we do this other article, let's go into a little more fun. I'm going to show you a couple of things here. Let's go through. I put up some pictures and okay, there's another one of my my vehicles. I probably was, now that was after the Capri because my life went crazy and I did other things. And so there is my I had that car. My brother traded it for a leather jacket. So I gave him a black leather jacket and he gave me this car. And I drove this car down to the city. I lived near New York City and I used to work in the 5 boroughs in Westchester. And hi, Jean. Jean's here with us. Hello, Jean from Costa Rica. So I just thought, okay, let me just, what the hell? I pulled some of these pictures up because I know what's going to happen. And it's going to make you guys say, holy shit, this is what I had. And sometimes memory lane is not such a bad thing. Okay, let me find and close this one. Let's find another one. Let's see, which one is this? Oh, well, we know that trucks are a big thing. They haven't stopped. So I found this one because I thought it was funny. I don't know. What do you think? Oh, it's Trump train. Okay. So let's go up a little. I don't know what order I put everything in. Oh, look, there is my mom. Okay. Before I do this, I set something up and no, it wasn't that. Let me set this up, put the background picture up. Okay, there we go. But that wasn't the background picture I wanted. Hang on a second while I talk myself through this stupid shit and get the other pic. No, what happened to the other picture? I think I screwed something up. And that wasn't it. And there's 2 of me up there. Look at that. And there's that. Okay, well, my mom in her Pontiac, there she is. And that was in California. Oh, see, none of these are in order. This was my Prius. I had this Prius, but it was like really, it didn't work right. Or at least my soon-to-be ex didn't think it worked right. Oh, there's the background. Look, I found it. There's the background. Here, watch. Here's the background I wanted. This is the Tennessee sky. My friend Robin, my lifelong friend Robin, who lives in the mountains in Tennessee. This is off her deck. It is quite beautiful, isn't it? Okay, so let's go down a little bit more memory lane and see what triggers you guys, What is this one? Oh, yeah, I had this too. Gas guzzling. This was my post-first divorce car, 2006. I was devastatedly financially ruined, that divorce. And it's just like that. So that was the first one I bought from one of those car dealers that like are on the road. I lost that picture. On the road, and they on the main road, they have high interest loans, and that's how I got my credit back. Oh, there's another one. That's during the tornado. That's the pick 'em up truck there. Oh, yes. I will never say that we did not guzzle our share of gas and contribute to our share of abrupt and catastrophic climate disruption, which this picture is of the tornado that hit my house. At the time, my old man was in the hospital recovering from a motorcycle accident, and the tree fell on his truck. The guy has bad luck. So Zoe Macon. All right, so we went there, and okay, and these are British. These are little cute British cars. They had the right idea, right? Didn't they have the right idea? These were taken in Westchester County. My brother and I had been to visit a friend of his. And his friend collected these cars. It was really interesting. And I've got to tell you that fossil fuels played a part in a lot of people's lives, and we regret it. We regret it now. We were part of the Edward Bernays Society. Yep, there's another one. I had that one. That was after I had the Jeep, and then I could go up and actually get a car loan and get this one. Oh yes, that one lasted me a long time though. I had a lot of miles on that one. Let's see. Oh, now here's one. Anybody have dreams? That was my dream. I would either get a restored, when I couldn't ride my Harley anymore, I would either get a restored one of these or a Porsche. Well, I can't ride my bike anymore, and I can't afford a Porsche. I can't even afford my life. I don't know how to do that. I can't afford my life. Let's see what's sounding. Yeah, I'm getting kicked every which way. Let's get that one up. That's my life. Okay, so everybody, I know a lot of you out there love these old trucks. I mean, who doesn't pass by an old truck and, and say, oh, wow, look at the old days. We like those things. What did we know? All right, what do I got? Oh, a couple of things to entertain you with. Yep. This is not car related, but this is a good one. See? Stairway to heaven or the highway to hell? Oh yeah. All right, I'll save the other one until after. So we've got 52 minutes. I have one more. I do have one more story. Whoops. Oh, we got to close it out. I have one more story. And this was the road to cleaner cars. And it had a history with it, actually. And we can see from Clean Technica, the actual article it's too long for me to go on, but I'm going to put the links up because this is really good stuff that I found, but I don't want to go over an hour. So I just want to show you the road to cleaner cars. We started in 1970, and I still don't have a pointer, so follow with your eyes. 1970, the Clean Air Act passed. Emission standards set for cars and light-duty trucks. 75, emission standards take effect. 79, Congress amends the Clean Air Act and passes more stringent standards. 1981, Congress further tightens standards. 1990, Clean Air Act amended, Tier 1 standards set. 1994, Tier 1 standards take effect. 2000, Tier 2 standards take effect. Cars and light trucks now held to the same standard. 2004, Tier 2 standards fully take effect. 2014, Tier 3 standards set. 2017, Tier 3 standards begin to phase in, and 2025, we go extinct. Okay, I couldn't help it. But the article actually is really good. Those two, you should read them, from Clean Technica, and they used the study by E&E News, and E&E News is really good. I mean, that you have to actually pay to subscribe to them, so of course I don't. Listen, guys, I really appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoyed this, where I took you around the world. We are addicted to our devices. That is another problem for another show. I hope that I can continue with that. With that one. But I also want to say thank you. And we've had a few changes. If you want to donate to help me keep my subscriptions going, this is the time where I say thank you. It will be in there. And please do me a favor and like and subscribe to this. I work very hard to entertain you. I work very hard to bring you good information. And if you like us, you can buy me a coffee, which changed its whole routine. It doesn't go to PayPal anymore. They now have to. I had to go in this thing called Stripe, and it's gonna be a whole tax form and all this other shit. So there's also directly on PayPal, and I guess I'm gonna have to look in other ways, because you guys are wonderful and you do help me, and I love you. And I've got, 64 followers and 15 members. I think 15 members on the Buy Me a Coffee, which is really cute, and I don't do much with it. But to run this show, and I know everybody and their brother grifters do this, but I got to do it because I need help, and I'm not ashamed. It took me all these years to ask, and I never had to ask, but thank you very much. And let's go through some comments. Anybody... Let's see. Dan said he was still in grade school in Seattle in 1970. We observed Earth Day, and all of us kids did a project relating to Earth. I did one on cigarette butts all over. Well, that's really, really cute. I like that. I like it. I'm going to yeah, let's do this part of the show where we put up comments. Thank you. And hi, David. Oh my God, people's freedoms are being reduced. Yeah, that was in relationship to, oh my gosh, we have to change. Yes, extinction with distinction, Rich says. Yep. Old Sage Joe, cars will go extinct before humans. Well, yeah, maybe they will. And I did not bring up my video with the horse and buggy. I should have. I forgot to load it. But yeah, what car was badass? Fire Up the Quattro. Was that the there was a couple of them I showed. Yeah, see, we all get excited because we all grew up. And the kids that even the young kids now, they're still growing up here around where I live. They all want pickup trucks. They do. I do. Aw, thank you, Nick. He said, ciao, Bella. He got to go over. He's a mod at the Tom Hartman Show, and I see that there's a discussion about it in the chat. Every talk show has something you take. Every talk show has something you take, something you don't want to take. You don't have to, you know. Hi, Tina. Thank you. Kemeshwari Kate, Jean, I'm so happy that you came. Yep. All right, guys. Thank you. I'm starting to feel better, but I have a lot of stress, and actually every day for me is like hanging on. It's like I'm in the subway and I'm hanging on that strap. But I'm a strong person. A very strong person. Yep. I am, guys. I love you. I definitely love you all.